fight today against a fellow American, but into the semifinals again. Just give us your thoughts on the match today.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how I managed to fight today. And yeah, it was a tough match. Madison's a tough opponent, but glad to be in the semis.
Questions, please?
Hey, Coco,
Hi.
well played.
Thanks.
I guess over your career, you've become known for your fighting spirit and your toughness in tough moments, even when you're not playing your best tennis. I'm curious, when you were younger, like when, I guess in Florida somewhere playing in juniors, at what point did you kind of realize that you were tougher than your opponents, I guess?
Yeah, I think I played a match in Orange Bowl. I'm pretty sure I was down like 6-1, 5-1 and came back and won the match. So that's one of those memories that always sticks to me. And it's like something I think about. I didn't think about it today, but at times in matches I have thought about that. And, just that I've had that in me from a young age. So when times become more difficult, knowing that I can, dig deep in those tough moments.
Coco,
Hello.
just to follow up on that, where do you think that came from?
I think just the love to win, the will to win, and yeah, it's not. I don't think sometimes it's not something that's taught or anything. It's just I've always had that in me, and not just in tennis, but in everything. Very competitive person, and my philosophy is if I can just leave it all out there, then the loss will hurt a lot less, and regrets of maybe not giving it your all.
And if I could ask, looking ahead to tomorrow, obviously, we don't know who
Yeah.
you'll play. I'm wondering whether you've watched, seen, or heard any of what's going on right now in Chatrier, and if it is Boisson who you play, what do you expect the scene and the crowd to be like out there?
Yeah, I saw like when she was up, and Mira was up 5-3, and like some points of the tiebreaker, just because I was getting ready to come here. But obviously, she's having a great tournament, Boisson, and what I expect the scenes. I played Jasmine in Rome. I played Jasmine and Sarah in Rome. I've played Caroline and Christina in here. So I have some experience playing against like a crowd that maybe it's not rooting for you. So it's something I'm looking forward to if it were to happen. And then obviously if I were to play Mira, it would be a tough match, maybe a little bit less crowd interaction with that. But either way, I have a tough match. It's a Grand Slam semifinal, and they both deserve to be there.
Coco, to follow up on that, if it is Boisson, you mentioned there about drawing on other experiences.
Yeah.
How do you keep that discipline of not reacting and not sort of knowing the fact that the majority of the people in that stadium don't want you to win and want you to fail? How do you cope with that as an athlete?
Yeah, I think, there's two ways I've done it in the past. Either A, just pretend they're cheering for you, and B, just using it and not letting, that get to you. I've been in crowds where they're 99% for me, so I don't have an issue with it. And, I hope everyone will be respectful and things, and if not, it's cool. I think, it makes sports exciting, and I can't get irritated the fact that, someone's rooting for their, hometown hero, because I would do the same. So, yeah, I think it's just something that I will mentally prepare for if it were to happen and expect and be ready for.
Yeah, well done. You mentioned on the court that you just went up in tension. Was there anything, did that solve everything? I mean, or it could seem like there was more rockiness throughout.
Yeah.
And it was just like that kind of match where everybody was kind of up and down.
Yeah.
Were there other things that you did? Was there a sort of plan B that you went to, or anything else that you do in those situations where you're not feeling your game or the ball like you would like to?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the ball, obviously, to start the match, so I changed like tension just to see if it helped, and maybe it did and maybe it didn't. I did go from 4-1 to 5-4, so I like to think that it helped a little bit. Sometimes the stuff could just be mental. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I changed my racket, I'm going to play better, and you start doing it. I don't know. But I was just trying to be aggressive, and I had chances in the tiebreaker. I don't like the way I played that tiebreaker. I think, although it was close, I think I played too passive. So, usually if you're playing too passive, in the end, the more aggressive player is going to win. So I knew in the second and the third that I had to try my best to be aggressive against Maddie is tough. Aggressive against Maddie looks different than an aggressive against somebody else. So, yeah.
Coco, did you watch Carlos Alcaraz documentary in Netflix?
No, I haven't watched the
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
documentary. No.
But for sure you heard about his like philosophy that he likes to spend time with friends and party in order
Yes.
to achieve his things. How about you? Do you feel like you also need that kind of normal life to achieve your goals?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I'm trying to do more just because I feel like so much of my life I was so locked in. And obviously, it's great to be locked in, but it was a little bit easier in juniors just because we would play a tournament and then you're home for 3 weeks and you go play another tournament, home for another 3 weeks. So obviously, on tour, it's quite the opposite. So yeah, it's something I do try to model him off of. I've told him that I've tried to like have fun on the court like him and smile as much as he does, and that is something that he inspires me to do that more and just enjoy the life in general. I find you play better. So yeah, for sure, I think he has a great philosophy, and it's something that I am trying to model. I don't think I'll be out there smiling as much as Carlos does sometimes when he loses and wins a match, but every now and then to try to crack some in. I'm usually a more serious person on the court, but I try to remember that it's just a game and try to treat it like that.
Hey Coco.
Hi.
When I was in Madrid, you told us that your strength in this tournament was your service.
Yeah.
And right now you seem to be struggle a little bit with
Yeah.
it. Can you explain it?
Yeah, I think in the first set, in that tiebreaker, honestly, it was just a little bit of nerves and knowing that I had to try to hit a good serve because she was crushing my second serve return. And then after that, I felt that I served a lot better in the second and third set, obviously. So I was just trying to go for it more and honestly just try to kick it as much as possible and try to get it out the court because she was running around and crushing forehand returns. So yeah, it's something that I will always have to work on, but I'm glad I didn't let what happened in the tiebreaker and earlier in the match affect the next 2 sets.
Congrats, Coco. Well
Thanks.
done. In sports, you obviously have to have great skill sets, but fighting spirit is a key. Does your fighting spirit give you the most satisfaction in your game? And secondly, you're a great sports fan. What athletes, what players in other sports have inspired you in terms of that, and what players specifically?
Yeah, with the fighting spirit, I think it's something that I've had naturally, but trying to be more positive is something I had to work on. And I'm really happy with how I'm able to reset and be positive and try my best to give the best mentality to show up. And people from other sports that I've looked up to, Sydney McLaughlin is someone that I really like and look up to in that way. Simone Biles, I think she just pushes herself, and to me that's crazy because in tennis we had Rafa and Roger and Novak all pushing each other, but in gymnastics she kind of doesn't really have anyone. So the fact she's able to move that needle against herself, I think, is pretty cool. And then you have the obvious like LeBron and Michael with those, and Kobe with that Mamba mentality. I think those are people I look up to outside of tennis. But in tennis, the usual Serena, Rafa, Novak, Roger, the best of the best is people I look up to too.
Hi, congrats.
Hi, thanks.
Since you just talked about that you changed the racket to adjust the condition, I was wondering how many rackets do you bring on the court, and how variety of like a tension of strings do you prepare if you don't forget to bring it on the court?
Yeah, if I don't forget. When I forget 0, when I remember 6, I went 0 for 6. But usually I have like 4 of the tension that I most think I'm going to probably use the whole match just because of the ball changes and things. And then I have 2 either tighter or lower. And today they were tighter because the racket I started with, for sure, I knew I wasn't going to want to go any lower than that. So yeah, I just went tighter. I thought, colder day, start the match off with a little bit of coolness. I've practiced with the looser racket on the colder days, but I don't know. And also, I don't know if it was a tension thing. It's really 2 pounds. So yeah, it matters, but it's also just 2 pounds. So it probably didn't matter that much.
Yeah, just on the sort of roller coaster nature of the match, in the both in the second set and the third set, you were like double break 4-1.
Yes.
How do you, what are you telling yourself in the third set when you're in that same position to avoid what happened in the second set?
Yeah, honestly, I felt like it was an important game just because she was up double break 4-1, and I came back, and then that happened in the second. So I was like, this is, usually in a match you're up double break 4-1. Obviously, you want to win that game, but, you're a little bit more relaxed. But I was just like, I got to be more aggressive and put the ball on the court. The 4-1 game in the second, I think I missed like 4 balls in the net, 3 forehands and a backhand in the net. So I was just telling myself, like, make her earn those points, make her hit winners on those points. Don't give her so many errors. So yeah, and then I was happy to get through that game, and after that I felt pretty comfortable. Thanks.